Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Don't Risk It podcast presented by VFIS Client Risk Solutions. This program focuses on the exposures our clients frequently encounter and discusses some potential solutions to help reduce these exposures. I'm your host, Chris Rogers with VFIS Client Risk Solutions, and today we're celebrating the legacy of the first paramedics in emergency services. Joining me on the program today is Nicole Dugan, and she's an education specialist in our education and training department. Nicole is joining us today to discuss Freedom House Ambulance and their impact on emergency services. Nicole, I want to thank you for joining me today, and I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So can you give the listeners a quick overview of Freedom House Ambulance?
Sure. So Freedom House Ambulance was the first paramedic program in the United States. It was started in 1967 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was primarily made up of Black men and women from underserved neighborhoods up in the Hill District of Pittsburgh.
So what inspired you to attend the celebration, or why were you at the event?
So we were there, actually. VFIS was a main contributor for the luncheon that was that we had through the National Association of State EMS Officials back in May of 2024. And during that, we met some of the founders of Freedom House Ambulance. They were there, in support and recognition of their organization.
Were you familiar with the organization before you attended this event?
I wasn't. I had never heard of Freedom House Ambulance, and nor had I heard of its history, which was surprising because Pittsburgh is only about 3 hours away from my hometown, and there's so much history there.
And you have experience. I mean, you spent a long time in emergency services for that to be 3 hours down the road and not have any knowledge of it. So it was obviously an educating experience for you.
Yeah, most of my life I've been in EMS, and I had never heard of Freedom House Ambulance or the history behind it. So
with that being said, how has learning about the Freedom House Ambulance impacted your perspective on EMS?
Just the resiliency that they had. They started the first paramedic program in the United States there, and they went through so much diversity, and they faced so many different challenges with racism, with underfunding, that sort of thing. Sure. It was a much different time. Like I said, they had many challenges, financial challenges, different, diversity, racism, different social and economic times.
So it was a really inspiring story to see all the hardships they went through and then to still persevere and continue providing service to the community. So can you share a moment from the celebration that really resonated with you?
So we got to meet some of the founders of Freedom House Ambulance during that luncheon, and just to hear some of the stories and, from them personally, and things that they had to overcome personally really was inspiring and really resonated.
So how do you feel like the experience influenced your personal growth as a provider, if so?
Just knowing the challenges that they went through. I mean, some of them aren't any different than the challenges that we face now in EMS, with diversity and with the different social aspects of our job and underserved. And, I really feel that everyone should have access to emergency services equally. Doesn't matter your background or, where you come from. And that's what they wanted to have for all of their patients as well and for their communities.
So as you mentioned, a learning experience for you, how do you feel that current EMS providers can learn from the legacy of Freedom House?
They can definitely take the tasks that we're doing and the tasks that they continue to face and just know that you can overcome those issues, and knowing that you're there to service your community and the people that need you, and just continue to do that.
So is there an overall message that you want to share with those entering the EMS profession, that you learn from attending this event?
Yeah, this isn't just about all of the technical things that we learn when we go to school or when you go to be an EMT or a paramedic or whichever service you're involved in, that everyone has things that they need to overcome, whether you're the provider or you're the patient. And like I said, that we all deal with that diversity and overcoming challenges and reaching out to your communities and being there to help your communities and collaborating with the people in your communities.
So for, people like myself or individuals that are listening that weren't able to attend the event, do you know of any resources that are out there that could give our listeners some more information about Freedom House?
Yeah, there's a YouTube video about Freedom House Ambulance if you just search just that, Freedom House Ambulance. And there's also a book that was written. It's called American Sirens.
Perfect. Well, Nicole, I want to thank you for joining me today. It was a lot of great information on a topic that I'm not too familiar with, and I'm guessing there's probably some other listeners out there. So I think that this will open some eyes to a very innovative organization that paved the way for a lot of people in the EMS industry. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for listening to the program and for your interest in VFIS safety resources. I want to thank our guest, Nicole Dugan, once again for her time and information. Please consider subscribing to our program to stay up to date on new content releases. Also, if you like what you've heard, please consider leaving a review below. For more information about the many resources available from VFIS, please visit VFIS.com. And to submit ideas for future discussions, please reach out by emailing VFISriskcontrol@VFIS.com. Thanks, everyone, and have a great day. The views, information, or opinions expressed during this program are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Gladfelter Insurance Group, VFIS, and its employees.